Bulls Nation, the game against the Clippers has come to an end, and this is one of those games where you look at the stat line, you look at how we played, and obviously you see that we can do a lot better than this performance, but this also proves that we are missing a lot of good NBA players that we simply need back, and it's as simple as that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the video. So without further ado, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the LA Clippers in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chicago Bulls versus LA Clippers game reaction. The Chicago Bulls, for the first half at least, kept things close, and then the second half things got extremely out of hand with simply no way to bounce back against a team like the Los Angeles Clippers, and it became a lot more difficult and it became a lot more clear just exactly what we're missing and just exactly the level of a team that we are at the moment. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below your player of the game and also how you feel heading towards this loss. Obviously, if you don't know the score for this game, it was 125 to 106. The Chicago Bulls kept things close for the second half, for the first half, and the second half it got away from them. We competed with this team, of course, and in the end, it didn't work out for us, and that's just how it is sometimes. They're a great team, even without Paul George. The Clippers are a very good team, and we struggled with them. There are a few things I want to say in this game that really stood out to me. First of all, we've seemed to be a team that is trying to work on things one thing at a time. We limited turnovers today. Granted that they scored on nearly every turnover that we did commit. But now it's time to focus on the defensive side of the game for us. We're limiting turnovers. That's great. I think Satoransky's been a big part of that. But ultimately, the defense of this team needs to improve consistently. We're seeing great defensive displays some games and poor defensive displays other games. And we need to find a way to be able to balance those things into consistency, consistently good defense. I'm not asking for the best defense in the league because we're just not that team. We're not going to be that team for a long time. But we need to find consistently good defense. And the example here is the pick and roll defense was poor. Even with Thaddeus Young in the team, every single time the pick and roll defense was being played or every single time there was a pick and roll against us, it was poor. And the Clippers are known to be a very bad team at that as well. But the Bulls are one of the worst defensive teams when it comes to pick and roll defense. I think we are the worst defensive team when it comes to pick and roll defense. That is something that is so vital to a team. If you can't guard a simple pick and roll, you can't win games consistently. And the Bulls struggled to guard the pick and roll. And when we verse good teams like the Clippers, when we verse good teams like the Lakers, when we verse good teams like even Boston, or to an extent maybe even the Pacers in that second game, if you can't guard pick and roll defense, it's going to be very hard to win games consistently. And I think the Bulls very much suffered from that. Also, we made things very easy for Kawhi Leonard. Extremely easy for Kawhi Leonard to get his points. At the end of the day, he is the main priority on this team. If you can stop Kawhi Leonard, if you throw doubles at him, if you try and beat him to the spot, if you try and get the ball out of his hands, maybe do a deny ball sequence with Kawhi Leonard, if you do all those things, it becomes harder for him to score, which means it becomes harder for the Clippers to score. And that is where we struggled the most, in my opinion. And that is the big sign for the Chicago Bulls. We needed to hold Kawhi Leonard to not have the game that he had. It was extremely easy for him today. And you can put that on Patrick Williams if you like. I think this is a team effort to stop Kawhi Leonard. He's a fantastic player. It requires more than one person to stop him. And we didn't do that. We didn't do that enough, I should say. We never really helped on Kawhi Leonard. We never really doubled on Kawhi Leonard. We didn't allow him difficult shots. We didn't get the ball out of his hands, and I think that was the big point in which we struggled as well. And that's really all I have to say in terms of this game. At the end of the day, the Clippers are a good team. They're better than the Bulls. It sucks to admit that, but again, there's clear levels between the Clippers and the Bulls at this point in time, so there's no point in me going any further and saying that the Bulls were poor or anything like that, because at the end of the day, this is an expected result. This is a result where we walked into it personally, and we always knew there's a big chance the Bulls can lose this game. I'm happy with the first half. I think the first quarter we struggled, and the second quarter we bounced back, and then the fourth and the third quarter was just a bad one, to be honest. But for the most part, the Bulls stayed in this game until the second half, and then things that were supposed to happen happened. The Bulls got blown out in the end, 19-point loss. Let's move into the, I guess you could say, the box score of this game. Let's look at the stats of this game. And we're going to start off with Zach LaVine, obviously the man. Another all-star caliber performance from Zach LaVine. 26 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds. Very, very good night from Zach LaVine. Again, consistency. It seems to be an ongoing thing with Zach LaVine. When he's not having 40-point games, he's getting above 5 assists. And when he has got 4 40-point games, he's still getting his team open. He crashed the balls very well today. He was fighting in the paint. I think, again, not a game where you can blame Zach LaVine. It's as simple as that. How can you blame Zach LaVine for this game? He was getting his teammates involved, and in the end, he was getting his own shots up as well. No one can guard Zach LaVine. No one can guard Zach LaVine. And it's very, very simple that no one can guard Zach LaVine, but other players need to help him, so it's easier for Zach LaVine. It's easier for other players around this team, and that's when we miss Larry Marketing today. Because in the end, he could have helped space the floor. He could have helped Zach LaVine get better shots and help Kobe White get better shots while also getting shots for himself. That's a big loss. Same with Wendell Carter. We missed the mid-range presence from that center position. Thaddeus Young, not really one to take that mid-range shot very often. He's more of a drive type of player. Wendell Carter is a pick and pop. He can make that mid-range shot. So we missed that as well. We missed a lot of offense from those two front court players today. And I think they took advantage of that. Kobe White, 17 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Very aggressive Kobe White today. Started the first quarter, 2 3-point shots, 2 makes. Beautiful start, and it continued from there. Crashed the boards very well once again. No struggles from Kobe White. I don't think this is a game where he struggled at all. It's just one of those things where maybe you could question his defense a little bit, but besides that, look, a game where he had near 30 points against the Pelicans. 17 points is more where I expect him to be on a consistent basis, especially as the second option. And I'd like to see a little bit more. Of course I would, because I have so high expectations from him. But I can't complain about the game Kobe White had today. Let's move into Thaddeus Young. 14 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds. Again, Mr. Reliable Thaddeus Young he's always going to get these types of stat lines. He's always going to be in one way or another contributing for the Chicago Bulls. Same thing here. I can't complain about the game that he had today. A very, very, very good game from him. Didn't play as much as I'd like him to, only 25 minutes today. He could have probably done a little bit better. But again, I feel sorry for Daniel Gafford, to be honest. And the reason why is this guy is struggling to a terrible position in these games. That Thaddeus Young has to play like this for us to even come close, to be honest, because Daniel Gafford's not providing anything in that starting lineup. 4 turnovers and 2 fouls in about 3 minutes of gameplay. That is not a good lot. That's not good for Daniel Gafford. And when you're the starting center and you're only playing 8 minutes, and you have a center that came off the bench in Luke Cornett that plays nearly double the amount of minutes that you play, Daniel Gafford has to be better than this. And I don't understand how he struggles like that as a professional basketball player. That is a very, very, very poor first quarter, and it just took him out of the game completely from then. Thomas Satoransky, amazing night for Thomas Satoransky. 17 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. A few shots where I thought, my goodness, how'd you miss that? But other than that, Satoransky had a very solid game. Was playing very aggressive, playing into himself, and he allowed his teammates to get open. He plays a very good game with Thaddeus Young, something I think all Bulls fans tend to realize these days. He is a fantastic pick-and-roll player with Thaddeus Young. They always seem to find each other. And that's a good sign. That's a good step in the right direction, especially for that bench. Our bench played very well today, and I think those two are mainly responsible. Someone else that I thought had a very good game, Denzel Valentine. 10 points and 3 rebounds off of the bench. He got his bench position back. He played very, very well. And again, I might have to make a video about Denzel Valentine if he's keeping up these levels of performances. Because let's be real, it's always been consistency with Denzel Valentine. Consistency. There were games where he'd have 20, and other games he'll have 0. I haven't seen that inconsistency as much this season as I've seen over previous seasons. And again, The season is still very early. There could potentially be those situations where those things can arise, but most likely it seems like he's put those terrible performances behind him from last season, which is a good step in the right direction. And at the end of the day, we've given him a chance. I think he's taking that chance, which is a very good sign. And I do also want to say congratulations to Luke Cornett for playing consistent minutes today. He played very, very well, to be fair. 7 points and 3 rebounds. Again, he's a player that I don't think is the future for the Bulls by any stretch of the means, but when Daniel Gafford's playing poorly like that, you can't have Thaddeus Young play every single minute. So Luke Cornett or Felicio had to get some game time in this game, unfortunately. But Luke Cornett did very well. He made a 3 very early. I think he did his thing out there. He's a good offensive center. I don't think he's a very good defensive center at all, which is why in the end, he played 15 minutes. I don't think he was a terrible performer, but again, we all know his weaknesses. And of course, I do want to also mention Garrett Temple had 10 points, 1 assist, 5 rebounds. That's the Bulls in this box score today. There are a few players that I want to talk about for must improve. And there are 2 players specifically I'm going to target. Again, when we lose, there seems to be 2 or 3 performers where you just look at and you say, I think they need to do a little bit more. First things first, Daniel Gafford. I've mentioned him before, and I'm going to mention him again. Daniel Gafford is definitely part of the must improve, and the reason why is that in that first quarter, I'm going to say it again, in that first quarter, 4 turnovers. Not necessarily all of those turnovers were him, but that was him missing the catch, him trying to get into his position, stripped away, things like that. 4 turnovers and 2 fouls in nearly 3 minutes of the first quarter. That is shocking. That is shockingly bad. And at the end of the day, we all want Daniel Gafford to do well. I don't know one person that doesn't want Daniel Gafford to do well, but he's making it clearer and clearer in most games that he's not a starting center in this league. He could be a good energy bench player, but at the moment, he's not stepping up to that occasion as you'd like to see him. There are minutes to be played here. Larry Marketing is out. Wendell Carter is out. Otto Porter is out. Chella Hutchinson are out. Those are front court players and centers that are not being played, that are not in the game. This is Daniel Gafford's opportunity. This is the prime opportunity for him to take advantage of these minutes, and he's not doing that. So when Wendell Carter does come back, I don't expect to see Daniel Gafford play. That's just how I feel. I don't expect Daniel Gafford to play when Wendell Carter comes back. And Wendell Carter could come back within a week's time. So this is a struggle. It's a struggle for Daniel Gafford, but he's not taking these opportunities. And how many opportunities are going to be left for him if he can't take them now? He's starting center for the Chicago Bulls. Many, many, many players on this team, Felicio, Luke Cornett, even the likes of Thaddeus Young, would want to start for the Chicago Bulls. And even in that center position, Daniel Gafford has that position in his hands and he's not taking advantage of it. So in the end, I don't know how many opportunities he's going to have left. But hopefully, in the next few games, he can live up to that opportunity. That's what we're going to need from him. He needs to step up and grab it with the palm of his hands and don't let that starting position go. Make it difficult for when Wendell Carter comes back to even pick him. But we're not doing that either. So it's just frustration, in my opinion, at this point with Daniel Gafford. And I want to target Patrick Williams. Now, again, Patrick Williams is a rookie, so it's kind of hard to just say... just go in on him and say he had a bad game. Again, when you're guarding Kawhi Leonard, it was very easy for Kawhi Leonard today compared to other games that we played against him. And that's not necessarily all Patrick Williams' fault, but it's more of the point where he needs to learn how to play both ends of the ball consistently. For example, when he's guarding the likes of a Kawhi Leonard, it's going to be hard for him. It's going to be difficult. And at the end of the day, he played a good enough defense on him. It's just that Kawhi's an all-star, one of the best players in the world. And that's what good players do. But where was Patrick Williams offensively today? And I feel like that's just going to be a balancing act. It's a rookie that's going to learn. He needs to learn that he needs to play offense as well as defense in these games. It's not just focus on Kawhi and don't do anything else. And again, that also comes to fitness. With a young player, a rookie especially, it could be a pacing issue where he's pacing himself all the time on defense. He's trying on defense that he has no energy to play offense. And that happens with a lot of 3-and-D type players. They struggle because they have to play so much defense that they can't get their offense in. So again, that's something that Patrick Williams will need to learn in the future, and that's why I put him as must improve as well. Not necessarily going to go and trash Patrick Williams for a bad game, but it is a learning experience for him, and I feel like people need to call that out. He needs to learn. We all need to learn in this world, and Patrick Williams is part of that as well, and hopefully he can learn from a game like this. And the player of the game is Zach LaVine. Fairly simple, fairly easy to understand. 26 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds. There's not really that much to go into. It's very straightforward. He's the player of the game. He's an all-star. Every single game, get him into the all-star game. He's performing consistently now. It's not like he's having these, I guess, 15-point games like you'd usually see. One-off games, 15-point games or something like that. For the most part, he's been consistently averaging 26 to above in his points per game. Get him in the All-Star. Let him become an All-Star. I'm going to say every time he has a good game because he deserves it, man. He deserves it. If it wasn't for Zach LaVine, we would probably lose this game by 30 points. 40 points maybe. It's as simple as that. It's not just the offense that Zach LaVine does well. Defensively, he was good today as well. It's just one of those games, man. Put him in the All-Star. Make him an All-Star. I think he deserves it. There's no more discussion anymore. This guy is worthy of an All-Star spot. The Bulls' record is 10-15, 5 games away from 500. Again, it's a difficult loss, but this is a loss I expected. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that I came into this expecting the Bulls to blow out the Clippers. That's not how I felt coming into this game, and that's not what happened. So I felt like this game was going to be close at least, and for the most part it was. And I felt like the Bulls could compete, but the Clippers are a good team. Even without Paul George, they're a good team. So I expected the Bulls to struggle in this, and we have. The next game, I believe, is against the Indiana Pacers. Again, this is a team where in the first game, we got blown out by the Indiana Pacers, and those are the things that I remember specifically because I remember them screening us out of every single possession in that game. That is something we cannot let happen in this game against them. We need to learn from what our mistakes was against the Indiana Pacers and try to fight back against them. And again, this is another team that could potentially be in competition with us. At the end of the day, from the 4th seed onwards, there are teams that are very, very close to us but are slowly slipping away. We're 10-15 at the moment, and we've played two less games. There are teams there that we could beat, and they could be still slip down the race a little bit. The Bulls, if they can go on a very good run over these past few games, basically what I'm trying to say, we could get into that 8th seed. We just need to go on a good run and see how we go from there. Hopefully that run begins with the Pacers. It's going to be a tough game. We've lost to the Pacers before. We got blown out by the Pacers. So hopefully the Bulls has pride and fights back and tries to beat them this time around. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy. Hopefully this loss doesn't affect you too badly. And let's see if we can pick things up against the Pacers in the next one. Take care and peace.